All right, welcome back to the channel. We got a fight. Weigh-in is done for the big fight taking place tomorrow night between Gervonta Davis, Frank Martin, also David Benavidez, Gary Antoine Russell, all on the card. And Gervonta Davis comes in at an amazing weight. Let's talk about what that means in this video. And hint, whole lot of cats are wrong. Let's talk about that in this video as we get ready for this big fight this weekend that I am absolutely amped about. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 133.4 weight class as Gervonta Davis weighs in for his fight with Frank Martin. Both fighters are looking extremely in shape, extremely cut. Neither one of them looking dry. And what a refreshing weigh-in, because it was actually a weigh-in. Now, before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much. I'm amped about this weekend. There was a big packed stadium. It seemed like a really packed audience for this weigh-in that took place for the fight that's going to take place last night. There was a lot of speculation about Gervonta Davis and Gervonta Davis missing weight heading into this fight because people saw him running during the time that there were arrivals the day before yesterday. So many people speculated that that meant that Gervonta Davis was having a hard time making weight, that he needed to be moving up to 140 pounds. And I've been telling people for a long time, Gervonta Davis is basically a 130-pound fighter that fights at 135 pounds. And him weighing in for this fight with Frank Martin at 133.4 pounds tells you that I am 100% right about that. This is a little guy. Now, Frank Martin also weighed in well underneath the 135-pound limit at 130. I think he was 134.5. He was looking ripped, looking good on the scale. Absolutely, they look like they're in really, really good condition and ready to go, man. I'm telling you, I'm extremely amped about this fight. The atmosphere of the fight was electric for the weigh-in. The undercard is stacked. Man, I can't wait for tomorrow night to see this excellent card go on. So but that was not the only fight, obviously, that was in the weigh-in. The first weigh-in was between Alberto Puello and Gary Antoine Russell. Gary Antoine Russell, just like Gervonta Davis, weighed in significantly under the weight, but at the same time he looked full. He didn't look drained. Alberto Puello, the Dominican, the former 104 WBA champion, he looked a little bit drained, looked more drawn, like it was a little bit harder for him to make weight than Gary Antoine Russell, but definitely gonna be a good fight. Gary Antoine Russell said that he's coming in to put a show on for the fans in DC, to put a show on for the fans in I think it's Capitol Heights, Maryland, is where they are located, which is a suburb right outside of DC. So he looked sharp, looked ready to go. Then the next weigh-in was for the fight with David Benavidez and Wojciech I'm killing his name. One of these days, I'm going to get his pronunciation right. Take the effort to get that right. But the Ukrainian former 175-pound champion who had beaten Adonis Stevenson. And the crazy thing about David Benavidez is David Benavidez weighed in at somewhere, I think he weighed in at like 173 pounds, but it looked like he had 3 pounds of gold around his neck. So he was probably closer. He was probably closer to 171, maybe 171 pounds when you took the fact that he had socks on and he had 3 or 4 dangling and quite big and thick chains around his neck when he weighed in at 173 pounds or so. And then when he was next to his opponent looked significantly bigger. He looked taller, looked bigger. Should be a very, very good fight. I definitely hope that Benavidez didn't bite off more than he can chew with this guy, because this guy is no joke, man. I've seen him fight. I've seen him in his fight since he came back. I saw him in his fights before he left, and the dude looks like a legitimate animal. Of course, he did have the big loss to Arthur Beterbiev, but Arthur Beterbiev is just, in my opinion, man, at 175, this dude could probably, Arthur Beterbiev, it's older now, but he could probably definitely carry himself up into the cruiserweight division and the heavyweight division and could probably still handle real business there, because I saw him fight Alexander Usyk in the amateurs and he was giving Alexander Usyk the business. But that said, he's not fighting. He's fighting David Benavidez is the one that's going to be fighting him. And hey, man, I'm looking forward to it. Benavidez clearly kept himself close to that weight so he can get back down to 168 pounds where he campaigns on a regular basis, and try to get that Canelo fight. Dangerous fight, I'm telling you. Dangerous fight. And this whole card is full of dangerous fights. But Gervonta coming in at 133 pounds, we can stop all his nonsense about how he can't make, how he's barely making weight and how he needs to move up to 140 pounds, and how he's outgrown the weight class and all the other nonsense that people want to do to push Gervonta Davis to have serious size disadvantages with your favorite fighter. I don't think Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, or Vasily Lomachenko or Teofimo Lopez weighed in at 133 pounds in years. Lomachenko probably hasn't come in at that weight since he was at 130 pounds. So we know the deal. Now, my predictions for the fight, I'll probably do, a video tomorrow about it. But starting from the 3 major fights that I'm looking forward to, because there's a 4th, which is Carlos Bronco Adames against Terrell Gausha. I don't know if that's much of a close fight. I've got Carlos Adames in that fight, but I'm riding with David Benavidez. I'm riding with Gary Antoine Russell, and I'm rolling with Gervonta Davis over Frank Martin. I think probably the biggest chance for an upset, is the Gary Antoine Russell versus Puello fight. Puello's an undefeated fighter who lost his title because he tested positive for something a couple years ago. But he doesn't have particularly big power, but he's long and rangy. And if he can find a way to box and get points on Gary Antoine Russell, he may be able to pull it off. But I still got Gary Antoine Russell. David Benavidez, another close fight. I got David Benavidez. Gervonta Davis, the more I look at the tape, the more I feel like, yeah, Gervonta's probably going to get Frank, and because Gervonta Davis's confidence is just through the roof. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.